It's not recording.
Oh, I'm recording. Can you tell we're the troublemakers? I'm gonna do it. What's his first name? Curtis. Curtis.
Jeffrey's will get them, so I figured. I'll take the one watch.
Technical difficulties. Stand by. Miss Jenny, were you going to speak for us? No. Or if you. Well, I can. Just not, I don't have a backup. Okay, item 2.1, approval of minutes of the Waitsman School Board regular meeting, December 15th, 2022 at 9 a.m. Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna have a special presentation about FFA, I understand.
Absolutely. Mr. Sharp, would you bring your papers in, please?
We're gonna wait for the comment section when we hit the 3 minutes, but that was very nice of y'all.
Show it.
Oh, I love you. Hey, I need some stuff.
You got 3 minutes, CC.
So good evening, y'all can come on up here. And if you're gonna talk.
They bite, but it doesn't work.
Go right back. Yeah, there you go.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Lindsay.
Well, good evening, everybody. If you don't already know who I am, I'm Cece Thomas. I'm the president of the Moorhaven FFA here. And this year, we have competed in FFA events like competitions and CDEs. Some of the things we have done are livestock judging, which we placed 52nd in the state. We haven't got to go any further than that because the stock is at 50. But we did get to do tractor driving in our sub-district and we won first place in that. Our tractor driver was Eric Puente. We also got to do TOID, which we went to state and they placed 11th in the state. And throughout the year, we got to do little things to raise some money, like in the carnivals. You've probably seen us at the Halloween carnival doing face painting. And at the Christmas carnival, we did games, like little games for kids to play. And we did a little silent auction with trees that we got donated to us by the Lake Placid FFA. And we've been trying to fundraise a little bit too. We still need a little help with that, with like ideas and stuff. And we're working on something right now for community service with Miss Philpott from the school, Miss Dr. Philpott. And with her situation, her husband is disabled and he's not allowed to move around as much as they wish. So we as FFA members are gonna help her build a ramp for her house for her husband to get into the house more easier. And we would like you, if you can, help donate or even with helping hands to help us do that. And we really just wanna help her out. We really think it's a good idea to do something for our community, and she's going through a rough time, and we really need to help her out. So,
Can you help with the supplies?
we're actually paying for that ourselves. We're gonna go tomorrow and measure everything out and see what our materials need, and then hopefully we can start on the project next week.
I'll volunteer. I'm not really good at building, but I know a couple of the board members probably, we can drive out. If y'all are building one day, we can help, so
Yes, ma'am. That would
you
be
can
very
depend on us.
I was gonna offer money for supplies.
We'll still take it.
Okay.
And other than that, we've just been trying to fundraise and get our way to state convention, which is later in the year, and just try to be more community involved. We would like to be around all of you and just help out. Thank you.
I would like for you each to introduce yourselves, please, and tell what grade you're in.
Well, again, my name is Cece Thomas, and I am in 11th grade, and I am in the collegiate program.
Deal.
I'm Tristan Busby, I'm in 8th grade.
Brian McDuffie, I'm the vice president of the high school chapter, I'm a senior this year.
Easton Heflin, 8th grade, president of Morgan.
I'm Eric Pointing, and I'm in 11th grade.
I'm Paisley Miller and I'm in 7th grade.
Charlotte Lampkin, 11th grade.
My name is Kaden Cisneros, I'm a junior. I'm also in the collegiate program and I'm the secretary of the high school FFA chapter.
My name is Colby Spinner. I'm in the 11th grade, and I'm the reporter of the high school FFA chapter.
I'm Josiah Jones, I'm in 11th grade now.
I'm Blake Patterson, I'm the Sentinel in 11th grade, and I'm also in the collegiate program.
I'm Brayden Field and I'm in 7th grade.
I just want to also congratulate Mr. Sharp because this is a young group, and he's building this from an amazing group of students, and we're seeing such wonderful things. I love going by and seeing the chickens. The other day, right before the storm, I saw people chasing the chickens and trying to get them in the food. But the vegetables you're growing and the carrots,
Yeah.
and all the other things that are happening, just congratulations, and we are looking forward to seeing what this chapter is gonna do. So if you're young and you are, 7th and 8th grade, you're the future, and we appreciate you. And Eric, we are so proud of you. I want to congratulate you and Mr. Sharp for enduring some stuff that you shouldn't have had to go through to be able to claim your first place ribbon. So congratulations, and we're all cheering you on for your state victory, okay?
Yes.
So I also would like to say something very quick. New Year's Eve, we were throwing firewood in the burn pile, and as I looked out of the corner of my eye, I seen a piece of wood that was just, just burn pile. And I jumped up, I told everybody, it's like, stop! That has to go to Moore Haven FFA. So something so natural, I am a Clewiston FFA alumni, and I don't know if you can see the emblems on their jackets, but this wood was the exact emblem, and it just spoke volumes. So I would like to present this to Moore Haven FFA. You can do as you please with it. If you have somebody that is very artistic to put the owl and the sun, and the plow and the eagle on there, that would be amazing. But it is for you guys, and I would just like you to feel. I am very impressed. Every one of you have learned parliamentary procedures, and we also are very impressed with your skill set. What you did at opening ceremonies and your sub-districts was great. I'm very proud of everything that you're learning to do and continue to learn with FFA.
Oh, that's awesome.
thank Ms. Ziegler. She has, or Ms. Bosley, I'm sorry. She was my student in the 6th grade. I'm aging myself, but now she has been an amazing parent volunteer for our, not only just the FFA, but for our entire school district. So I want to thank her for just hours of countless, just selflessness and just doing everything you can to help our chapter. Mr. Sharp?
Yeah, being an ag teacher and having so many different kids that want to compete different teams, it's so hard to do one-on-one with those kids. And I really needed help, and she's been there from day one. I don't know of anybody else who's helped as much as Ms. Busby, and the difference that she's made in those students from the time that I started working with them to when I had her help was transformational. I never could have achieved with those students what she's achieved with them. I'm very, very appreciative of having you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
You guys want to hang out for a couple hours?
Mr.
I'm gonna stay for the meeting, and if you guys want to split, you can. Thank you guys for all coming, and it was very nice.
Mr. Sharp?
As the finance person, as a fundraiser idea, I would like to propose the idea of selling eggs.
Oh,
I'm just sitting next to you.
I saw a Facebook thing that says you really have to hate somebody to throw eggs at them about this time. It's too expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys for coming.
Bye, Easton. I'm autistic. I'm
Okay,
not crazy.
next business. Item number 3 is recognition of Ramon Vasquez for 16 years of service to the Glades County School District.
Oh, I'll just talk loud. First of all, I want to present you with these cards from the staff.
Thank you.
And I want Mrs. Bella come up here because you were his principal for a really long time. And I asked some staff members to share some memories. I work with Mr. Ray, but don't look at me. A really long time, because I'm a little bit emotional about this. And these were the comments that I got today. Ms. Kimber Smith says, when Josiah, Jamil, and Jadiel were in elementary school, I would always see them working after school. They would collect garbage, help move furniture, setups for special events. Then when the boys got to middle school, I saw the effects of the hours of manual labor. Josiah, Jamil, and Jadiel were without a doubt some of the most hardworking students I ever taught. They had a wonderful, down-to-earth character, and they were very respectable young men. Their character was a reflection of Mr. Ray's character, and I have a lot of respect for Mr. Ray based on what I saw in those boys. Our new BPK teacher says, even though I have only been at West Glades for a short time, Mr. Ray has always been helpful with anything BPK or I needed. He was always happy and always a humble feel about him. And then I added 2 of myself. BPK does not have smart boards, just throwing that out while I'm here. And Mr. Ray went and bought 2 65-inch TVs for their classrooms, and so I thought we had some coming. Once again, we don't have them still. And so I said, Mr. Ray, you need to take those back, give your money back. He gave one to the SRO. And then I think he took one home, and I'm sorry if your wife doesn't know about that. But he's always, he will meet a need out of his own pocket for Westlake School. And then he has never missed a storm at Westlake School, am I correct? And I worked my first storm this year, and Mr. Ray, it's like he's the storm whisperer, right? So we were gonna feed these people 1 meal at 4. Well, at 1, they're calling everyone loud system, everybody come eat. And I said, Mr. Ray, we were gonna feed them at 4. He goes, no, we need to feed them now. And literally, the last person's walking through to get their food and would lose power. It's like he knew that it was going to happen. And we're gonna miss Mr. Ray, and we want thank him for his years of service. Do you want to say anything? No. She came.
Ray, he's never left me alone. He's always been there by my side from being a kindergarten teacher at West State when I first started. We've worked together in school and outside of school, he's feeling now, so. But he is a hard worker, and she's right, anything anyone needs, he does it. If you say it, you don't say it unless you want it done, because if he hears you talking, it's gonna happen. I'm just saying, I'm like, what are you doing? And it is already done, so, you need to be like, give me more But, yes, Ray has been an amazing asset to this place school bus.
So he will be missed.
I'm sure they're,
We're already missing him.
yes, I'm sure.
I miss the school, so I miss my family. I call it my family. It was, just 2 years.
Mr. Wright, you told me once you wanted your ashes spread there.
How I feel about this school. It's been my home for 7 years.
So what are you gonna do with your retirement?
Well, I think I'm ready, I'm driving Legos now, so when they got a trip somewhere,
So good for you.
AT&T and Naples,
Good for you.
and I miss the school already, I miss, get everybody.
Watching them go.
I'm thankful because all my kids, they have raised all my kids. I do my grandkids, all 3 of my kids, my grandkids.
That was an experience.
Yeah. Everybody had to go to the system. And it's a great system. I know the kids that graduate from here, they're good kids. They're doing a lot of good things in life.
Mr. Wright, that's a long time to work in a district, and I wanna tell you that, when I worked the storm with Ms. Wills, I got to see firsthand not only your love for your school, but for the people and the community of Muse. And because you didn't care, it didn't matter how many people we had in that center, everybody was welcome. And, you treated everyone with respect and fairness, and you made them all feel comfortable. There was about 4 migrant buses that pulled up, and no one spoke English, and thank God for you, because my little Google phone was not keeping up. So, I also want to tell you that one of the first memories that you and I have, and you don't even know about it, I got a call in the middle of the night that the alarm was going off, and when I got there, it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, the police officer was leaving, and I said, what's happened? Y'all just called me and said that the alarm was going off. And he said, it's okay, the mayor was here. And I said, the mayor? And he goes, the mayor? I said, the mayor of Muse? And he says, no, the mayor of Westglades. And I said, what are you talking about? Of course, it was you. And he said, everything is okay and it's all taken care of. So, this plaque is such a small token of our appreciation. There's not words or anything that could convey the appreciation that we feel towards you and what you mean to our, not just Westglades, but our entire district. You set the bar high for other employees with your dedication. And I know Ms. Sabella as well as Ms. Wills and just the staff and the kids. We love you. You can come back tomorrow. If you're welcome to come back anytime. And so just on behalf of a very grateful district, thank you. I'm going to present this. So it's got me crying.
It's something that she wrote me before she even met me in a form that I have, like a approval, not approval, like a how you call those things when somebody gave you a recommendation, something like that, and she wrote some, as a frame it, it's in my house.
These are gonna be great.
I said. You yell at us, right?
If you want to come back, I'll give you one every day.
Just read them and address.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Chairs up there in front. You must sit down.
Y'all don't tell me this stuff's gonna make you cry.
And Jenny and I out there.
I'm crying.
Yes, they did cry.
Right here. Okay. We are at approve the November 2022 finance report.
I'll make a move to approve the finance report.
Have a second? Second. Anyone want to discuss anything? Questions? No? All in favor? Aye. 5.1, approve the proposed amendments to the agenda.
I move to approve the proposed amendments to the agenda.
All in favor? 6.1, public comment on agenda items. Is there any comment cards? Item 7, consent agenda. You can either take a motion to approve all the consent agenda, all the consent agenda items, which is 7.4, or does anybody have anything they need to pull and discuss? Okay, take a motion. Yes.
We have two of our new hires that are here. We have Mr. Curtis Thompson and Miss Allison Sanchez. If you will please stand, Allison. And Mr. Thompson is probably somewhere in the back.
I'm back.
Oh, there he is.
I'm here. It's just me.
And I tell you, you pray and pray for good people, and you pray that you'll just keep getting blessed, and we truly got blessed for these two. So thank you so much for joining us, and we are so glad you're in our family.
Yes, we are.
Action agenda 8.1, approval of Haven Elementary Schools 22-23 school year.
Oh. Did they call us? Oh, they did? Oh. I'll come back.
Sorry.
I have two teachers who are actually going to present our school improvement plan tonight. I have Ms. Tammy Humphries, who's my reading interventionist, and I have Ms. Bernie Smith, who is working in our reading school. Okay. All right, so I guess we're supposed to present our school improvement plan tonight. You got it, thank you. Sorry, it's too much.
So on the road to success, focusing not only on academics, but students as a whole, Moorhaven Elementary is on the road to success. And if you've been to our school, you've seen that that's our theme for the year. We're on the road, like a road trip to success, so you'll see a lot of roads and different things going on, and road signs, and we've just been having a lot of fun with that.
So on the road to success, Moorhaven Elementary has numerous opportunities to demonstrate growth and seize our momentum to increase overall improvement. The area of greatest need for improvement in our school is science, so prioritizing science enables students to utilize and strengthen their reading and math skills, which are embedded in the subject. And some strategies that we're doing to accelerate learning is teaching the standards with fidelity, continuous progress monitoring of students, small group instruction, which we call Power Hour. We do that at least 4 days a week. The GAP after school, Glades after school program, which is also held Monday through Thursday weekly, and the weekly PLCs or professional learning.
Okay, now you're looking at the last year's data, 2021 and 2022. And you'll see our proficiency was very low. That's easy to see by looking at the numbers. ELA, grades 3 to 5 was at 32%, math 28%, science for 5th grade was 10%, and the total possible points earned 39%, which gave us the shining grade of a D, which we won't see again for many years because we're going way up this year. And then if you look on the next screen, you'll see this great chart here that our wonderful principal made, ELA Avenue. It is really a neat chart because when we put it together, we saw how much growth we had made just at the middle of the year from our mid-diagnostic. I mean, we were amazed. If you look at just kindergarten, their first diagnostic, they had 29% proficient. So we had made a goal of 35%. And they went to 62% at just the mid-year. And if you look down, you can see the grades 1 through 5. And then overall at the bottom, the first diagnostic showed a 16% proficiency. Our goal was 29%, and we got to 38%. And then in the green, it's kind of hard to see on this. Oh, you can see it up there better. Our end of the year goal is 52. So we're not far from our end of the year goal. We're really close. And with our power hour, as she was saying, we pull out kids, all of us, the assistant principal, everyone has a group of kids that we work with constantly every day, Monday through Thursday. It's very intense intervention, and we're working on specific skills that each of those kids need to make them proficient in the area that they're lacking. And the numbers show the proof that it's working, and I have no doubt we're gonna go up.
Alright, the next slide is the Math Avenue, and it's laid out the same as the ELA. You have the grades down the side, and then in the first column you can see Diagnostic 1. The numbers didn't, but we did set a mid-year goal, and 2 out of the 5, 6 grades met their goal or got over. So our goal for overall was by the end of the year is 41%, and we're at 17 at the end of the second diagnostic. So there's some work to be done there, but we're on our road. Yes.
And with that, we are now, after this came out, we saw that we've been, and you'll see with the science, we've been hitting the ELA really hard, we've been hitting the science really hard, and then this was an eye-opener. Whoa, we gotta go with math. So now we are creating the small groups, just like we're doing with ELA and have been doing since the beginning of the year. Now we are starting the math groups. So now we're pulling those kids based on the mid-year data with the already. We're creating the math small groups as well.
And the next one is science, and we have our data from November. We're still awaiting the January data, students take tests, but on level, we had 12% of students, 1 grade level below 36%, and 2 grade levels below 52%, but our goal is to have 41% on level.
And if you're a numbers person or a data person, you'll really appreciate these because whenever we have our PLCs in the think tank, which is what we call it, with Ms. Durrance, and she, we have these on posters, and we can say, look, this is where we are, and this is where we need to be. And I'm a real visual learner, so that I'm like, oh, okay, this is how many students we actually need, and it just makes things more real and attainable to me if you can see it and it's not just talked about. The next one is about our positive school culture. And I just want to say this year, we have probably had the best, most positive school culture we've had in years. It's no more chaos, it's kind of chaotic, but it's a fun chaos, it's a organized chaos, it's a Miss Durrance chaos, which we love. So, we have PBIS and we have Mr. Glenn Ford, if you know him, he's in charge of that, and he is so good at motivating the kids while also keeping them in line. And PBIS, for those of you laymen that don't know what that is, it's just a positive behavioral interventions and support. We have pep rallies that help, kind of get the kids excited about these different character traits that they need to be, and we use BARK, which is behave responsibly, be accountable for your actions, respectful, and kindness. So those are the 4 things we're focusing on this year with our kids for their behavior. Administrative support is huge. I can't stress how much administrative support we have that we haven't had in the past. So it's amazing to have, and I think our scores and everything's gonna, the proof will be in the pudding. You'll see it at the end of the year. Spirit sticks, we have spirit sticks the kids get, and we deliver them to the rooms, and the kids get so excited. We have one K to 2, and then one 3 to 5, and they get super excited. And relationships are crucial. The relationships between us and our kids, between the staff, between admin, between the board members, it's just, everything is so smooth and cohesive. It's just it's a wonderful place to work again, and it's a wonderful place for the kids to go to school, and it's even gonna be more amazing when our new school is here. I can't wait. Do you want to do the last one? Okay.
So with that being said, we're not where we want to be yet, but we're a team and we will overcome all obstacles successfully to complete the road trip.
Yes. And we were gonna make up a cheer, and then they were like, no. So, she said, absolutely not. Yes. So how did I know?
So this data, is this iReady data or is this the new state diagnostic
iReady
test? It is iReady. So how did our iReady data line up with the state first diagnostic? Was it close?
Well, and it's not going to be,
It's
and
not
the state
close.
has already put that out, that they don't want us to focus on PM1, PM2, because PM1, PM2, that is all grade level material. So 5th graders are seeing 5th grade material
All 5th grade
in August. They haven't been exposed to it yet. And then they're
So
taking
they're not
it.
expected to do well?
No,
Is that what
no,
you're saying?
exactly,
Okay.
right. They're not expected to do well. PM3 is the one they're really looking at. Now, PM2 will be, that data will be used to guide instruction, but for the intensity and for our, intensive groups, it's gonna be the iReady, because that's on their level. And that
Have you
shows-
had the second one?
We start tomorrow, next week. For PM.
And that you get immediate, right?
Yes.
Like the results come back really quick,
Yeah,
and the
the-
teacher.
The state test is not adaptive. So it's just, like iReady is adaptive, the state test is not adaptive. So you're seeing when I'm in 4th grade and I take the first state test in the fall, it is everything I should know in 4th grade, which is why kids can't. And everybody, they were like, what is this? Why is this all here? And so, it's almost like, I think when it's presented, it needs to be presented as, look, you're not gonna know all of this, and that's okay, because you haven't been taught it. So, no, we couldn't use that data to predict.
I want to freak y'all out. Okay. I was just curious. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, so we need, a motion to approve Morehaven Elementary School improvement. A motion to approve Morehaven Elementary School 2022, 2023.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. 8.2, Morehaven Middle High School.
You go, guys, you go. Not this way. Look it on time. See nothing. He's so chunky. How old is he? Oh my God, he's so cute. Yes, I can't, I don't know who he looks like. It's down here. It's down here. Oh.
Lieutenant Barfield, board members, and to our newest members, welcome. We are here to provide you an overview, a look at our school improvement plan. We came to you before, we talked about the essence of change. Where do we go from here? The overview of our essence, of our school improvement plan, you must take a look at the mission of the school. And one of our missions is to close the achievement gap, preparing all students for college and career readiness in order to be successful in our global society. The vision of Morehaven Middle is to attain academic excellence through programs that meets the present and future needs of students, while providing what I feel is probably one of the most important, a safe and orderly environment in the school. We have done exceptionally. We've changed the climate in the school. Climate is now inclusive learning, and that is taking place inside of our schools. The Florida statewide assessment program, the 22 schedule, is that you asked the question before, the first administration of the PM1, as it's stated, was from August 15th to September the 30th. The second administration, which is PM2, went from December the 5th to January the 27th, where that's the era that we're in right now. Now, this particular session deals with grades 3 through 10, in the fast EL learning, reading, and grades 3 through 8 in the fast mathematics. In the handout that we gave you, FAST is defined as the Florida Assessment of Student Thinking. The progress monitoring standards. In reading, you have reading prose and poetry, reading informational text, and reading across the generics. Each one of these have standards that are attached to the handout that we gave you. Now, these four categories that we've given you are the same for grades 6 through 8 in the area of mathematics. Grade 6, number and sense operations, algebraic reasoning, geometry reasoning, data analysis and probability. Grade 7, number, sense, and operations, algebraic reasoning, geometry reasoning, and data analysis and probability. We're going to have, it's noted that the principal doesn't have to be the smartest person in the world, but just has to align himself or herself with the smartest people in the world. So we're going to have Mr. Thomas, who is our reading coach. We just got Ms. Sanchez, who was our math coach, who we're really pleased about. So now you'll be hearing from Mr. Thomas that will begin to explain to you where we are right now. Mr. Thomas.
Good evening, how's everybody doing this evening? I'm Mr. Thomas, I'm the reading coach here at Moorhaven Middle High School. As you see on the screen, this is where we are right now. As Ms. Jordan said earlier, the progress monitoring assessments, PM1, PM2, when you're given that test, it's given on what you should know for the entire school year. So it's not just, in that one snapshot in time, when the first one is given and the second one is given. So if you look at these numbers up here, this is for PM2. We took PM1, our scores were a little low. We took PM2, and we're at 26%, 23%, and we're only a little over halfway through the school year. So this data, which means we're right on track to get that 41% proficient that we need as an entire school. Now, that 41% does not mean we're leaving those other students out. We want 100% learning gains. That is our goal, 100% learning gains. But on our way to that 100%, we need 41% to be proficient to get out of that D grade. And we're well on our way based on the progress we're on PM1 and PM2. And by the time PM3 comes around, we're rocking and rolling. Because the same, what we see on PM1 test, you're gonna see those same strands benchmarks on PM2. So now when PM3 comes around, our teachers are focused, leadership is focused, we know what to walk in, to check for, to observe, and everybody's on the same page. The students understand the purpose of why they're doing it, not just to get an A, not just to finish it. I'm doing this to learn these benchmarks so we can pass this PM1 test. Here, I gave an example of a comparison from PM1 to PM2. And if you look at our numbers, we're pretty close to the state average. We're not that far off on our numbers based on what the state is doing and what we're doing. And if you look at PM1 on the left side, we got a lot of red, it's okay. But you go to PM2 and the green and over, that's what we're trying to get for proficiency. And you'll see our numbers are not that far off what the state is doing and how they're performing on the progress monitoring test for that proficiency level. And our numbers are going down. That level 1 red is going down. Level 2 yellow is also going down from each one to the next one. And we're well on track, and our kids are working hard every day. We have teacher buy-in, we have parent buy-in, and it's constant. And every decision that we make is data-driven based on what we're seeing, not what we just think or how we feel. All right, this is PM1. You can see clear the state. And this is why this test is so important to us in our decision making. If you see here the next one, you go down. You have the best standard, the reading, prose, and poetry. Those are the 3 things that Dr. Daly covered: prose and poetry, informational text, and reading across genres. The state breaks it down as to what they're going to be tested on. You got the best standard, you got the question number, and then you have the benchmark that's tested. That tells you right now in your lesson plans, you know every student, where they're at, what they're doing, opportunities to learn, their strengths, so you don't even have to guess when you're doing your lesson planning. It's all right there for you and broken down, and you have to study it. As you see, this student, Jane Doe, for prose and poetry, she's at or near the standard, and we can look and see R11, she passed that one, the next standard is 0, and you can even tell how many times that standard is covered on the test. Right from the best standards book, it's all right there for you. All you gotta do is study it. Leadership does its job, we do our job, and we continue on that upward trend to get that proficiency level. And once again, this is where we are right now. PM2, we're at 26%. We got some work to do in math, but we're using the same strategies for math, science, our civics. It's all data driven based on what the state is requiring for us to do. And we are right now, but it's not where we want to be. We're going to be on top here in the next couple of months and improve our students' academic success. Thank you.
Church said amen.
Yes,
Good evening. I, didn't want to scare our math coach off, so I told her I'd take this one. I'm gonna keep her with us. But this is one of the pieces I'm gonna start talking. I'm Janice Lee, AP at Moravian Miller High School, and I can't tell you when people ask me, how is it there? It's like I kind of died and going to hell. Because I did retire and come back, and I can't think of a better place to be. We have a great student body. So when you hear me talk more, I'm gonna talk about us working with teachers. We have wonderful teachers as well, but I can't think of a better place to be. So what I'm gonna share, we are talking about processes for addressing improvement. It's like a lot of tools in a toolbox, but we only selected a few, and we continue to pull out more and more to improve student improvement. And one of the pieces which I really love is our Moorhaven Middle High School walkthrough observation. And I'll show that in a minute. This is where we go in the classroom. We're looking at about 8 strategies or 8 points that we look at within the classroom, give the teacher feedback, and then we go for there. And all of them, I can't tell you at a time, that they've not asked for that extra support. It's a coaching tool, not an I got you tool, but a coaching tool to say, how can you help us better student achievement? The second piece, like Christy and her group mentioned, we are holding PLCs. Our PLCs are focused on learning, collaboration, and results. We're gonna start meeting twice a week with our teachers, and it's all about the data. And it's like Mr. Thomas, where's that data, what's gonna drive our instruction and how we get there? And then the third part I'll talk about a little bit, we were able to create common planning for our teachers, so they will be able to collaborate and during that planning time, plan together and talk about what's best, what are the best practices. My class didn't do well here, but your class knocked it out the ballpark. Can you tell me what I need to do? Let's start sharing ideas because we're all trying to get to that end point. This is our checklist, and I love this because this gets me out of the office and into those classrooms. And I can't wait till we make that schedule. We're doing walkthroughs today, guys. Take messages for me, do whatever you have to do. I won't be back in until such and such period because we're getting out in those classrooms. And it's always a pleasure to do that. The 8, and you can read through that, but the 8 points that we look at, did you conduct a beginning and ending review? What did we leave off from yesterday? What are we gonna be talking about today? And then at the end. The board configuration. This is one that as we work along with the state, there are certain things that we need to post and we review every day so your kids know what's expected of them. And this includes the date, the standard and the benchmark, what is the learning target, and the task. And then the next one, we make sure whatever we've assigned those students, when we come in there, it should align with the, your task should align with the standard. If you're asking me to analyze and evaluate, then I shouldn't be down way low doing a recall questions. We have to make sure those things align if we want to see improvement. The next one, student engagement. All of our students come in, they sit there, they do the work. Does that mean they are highly engaged? We're trying to move from students being compliant, just doing what they were told to do to get the grades they want. We're trying to move to them being authentically engaged, working in small groups, them talking to each other, them bringing the best out of each other to understand the standards, along with the teacher guidance. Student accountability. We hold all students accountable. Not when we walk around the old saying was, did you get it? Everybody says yes. But if we don't move around and look at what each person is doing individually, you got that shy student sitting over there who's gonna say yes, but there may not be anything written on that person's paper. So we get up, we monitor, we move around the room so we can make sure that our students are being engaged and hold them accountable. We also are looking at the down to school expectations. I know you say, well, what does that have to do? But if we're in the classroom and kids are following the classroom rules, teachers are enforcing the rules, it makes it better for education and improving our students. And the last one that we're working on with our teachers is the Avid Wicker, and that, are we writing? Are we, the inquiry going on, is it collaboration taking place, and organization and reading? If those things are taking place, we write evident. Now, when we see this checklist, when we do this, it says evident or not evident. Did I see this, or it didn't take place? We do this 10 minutes at a time in each class. Not saying that it's not evident, we didn't see it at that point. That doesn't count against the teacher. We just didn't see, I wouldn't expect sometimes to see the end of review when I go in at the beginning of the class and spend those 10 minutes. That's not gonna happen. But we'll take another date and try to go back near the end of the period so we can check off that did happen. So that covers that. And then once we get these reviews done, we set up meetings with teachers to go over the results of the walkthroughs. And after we go through the results of the walkthroughs, our team come back together and we get our points together and we create a bar graph to say, this is what teacher walked through, the checklist data, this is what it looks like for this week. And as you can see there, being that I think the hardest one we dealt with would be number 2. Teachers just didn't see the need for board configurations. Why do we need to do that? Just do it. The state said, just do it. But it's all a part of learning, and we were really superly impressed on how many teachers came back to us to really want to know, am I doing that right? Or come in and we will provide support. So number 3 through 8 are things that we are now providing more support, and we're really doing within teacher leaders, some of those that are excellent at some of those things to help your peers. So it's not all about us. And at this time I have Mrs. Chu as a teacher. This is all from our point of view, but she's gonna talk to you about her point as a teacher.
Good evening, I'm Mrs. Tu, I'm the 6th grade science teacher at Moorhaven Middle High School. And I'm gonna talk to you about how we're going to accomplish those goals. Talked about that Dean Thomas, Mr. Thomas talked about, and what Ms. Lee talked about as far as getting those scores up. So I'm gonna do like a little review of what we did last year. So last year we started our academic improvement program. And what we did for that AIP was we carved out a half an hour, I think it was about a half an hour in the morning, Monday through Friday, and the kids came in and we had them by grade level. And every teacher, every person at Moorhaven Middle High School was involved in working with kids on reading skills and math skills. So that was part 1. That started in January, and we took it all the way to when the test was given. So then we started thinking, we brought our leadership together and said, okay, so now we did that for last year, what are we gonna do this year? So this year, phase 2, we're gonna start every Tuesday and Wednesday. We did cut it down a little bit because having it every single day, that took a lot of time out of other teachers' teaching day, and it was very, very hard. It was rough. I can say that as a teacher, doing that every day, doing a second set of lesson plans, it was rough. But we got through it, and the scores did go up. So this year, starting the week of January 30th, so that gives us a little bit of time to prep our teachers, so they have a complete outline of what is expected during that 30-minute time. We're gonna start that, teachers will be concentrating on the standards that were identified in the progress monitoring tool that Mr. Thomas showed us. So, like for my group of kids, I'll have them for 30 minutes by second period, so I don't have somebody else, well, I teach all 6th grade. But I know that particular group. So what I did was I pulled all their data for those 15 kids. I had what every student needs in that group. Sally may need this, Jimmy may need something else. So it's gonna be totally tailored to what those students need in ELA and math. I'm not an ELA teacher, but I teach science. If my kids can't read, how can they do science? Math is also in science. So I need to teach math. 30 minutes once a week, I can do that. Okay. Our grade level teachers, as Ms. Lee said, they'll be getting together during that common planning time, and that's where we're gonna put our heads together and figure out what other pieces are we going to use? Are we gonna use iReady? Are we gonna pull other things to help these students with those particular standards? And it will all be standard based.
As we begin to wrap up, some of the positive highlights that we are currently experiencing, we're experiencing learning games. That is taking place. Increasing a family environment, a culture that is conducive of we are family. That's what it's all about. Student improvement, teacher collaboration, teacher camaraderie. That's so important as you tie in that collaboration. Having teachers get along with one another. That doesn't mean that we all agree. That doesn't mean that. But it means that at the end of the day, we're all about the same thing. And that is student academic achievement. What we're really pleased with is our homeschool community partnership. Our increased data collection process. And we want to thank Mr. Bowles for working with us with our on-course lesson plan submission. Every teacher will be submitting lesson plans through the on-course, so we're all doing the same identical thing. And our progress monitoring. We want to thank you for the time that you have provided us. We want to thank Superintendent for working with us and staff at the district level, because we're all working in this together. You know, and I tell my students all of the time, failure is not an option, and we will not allow that to take place. Our kids will be successful, and like Ms. Durham said, we will not be seeing these anymore at Moore Neighborhood Middle High School. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Thank you.
I have one. Oh yeah. I wanted to ask, is there a writing portion in this new Congressman Districts on the state in the ELA section?
It is, but we're not doing this year. I think we're gonna be like a test bed, see how it works this year. So it's not gonna be counted on the actual theory test.
So the statewide, they're not testing writing this year, but they will next year?
Yes.
And it'll be in the ELA portion, kind of like it was with FSA, it was just a piece of it? Okay.
I have come to realize, I'm not gonna predict what the state does.
Yeah. Smart.
We're gonna do our best.
Very smart.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank all of you.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to approve the board of high school 22-23
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
8.3 Westlake School.
We have a couple of teachers here tonight, Ms. Sandra Van Wagner and Ms. Kara Dillman, who was district teacher of the year last year. And I have a couple of students, and at some point in time, they're gonna come on and talk also, so they're gonna present our school.
Gonna start just with a little bit of data about our school. We're K through 8, student, pre-K, see, I've already forgotten, IPK, K, which is grade K. Our student enrollment this year is 665, which is the largest, I'm told, that we've ever been. And you can definitely tell that we're not bursting at the seams, but there are a lot more people on campus now, so that's really kind of an exciting thing. The people in our community definitely love our school. We have 93 students, SWD, which are students with disabilities, but that number also includes some with speech and the students who are gifted as well. We have 25 ELL active students and 11 that are on consultation, which we check in and make sure that they're doing well. Obviously, free and reduced lunch is 100%. We have 70% migrant students, and most of our migrant students have returned now to our schools, so we're definitely seeing those kids come back and kind of catching up with the things that they lost wherever it was that they were. I often find that they haven't had as much learning while they were gone as they do when they're with us. Okay. I'm not the numbers girl. I tell my students that I'm allergic to math, so I'm gonna do the best I can with this. Last year, ELA-wise, speaking as one of the team of ELA teachers for West Plains, it was a rough year. Losing Mrs. Collier really, I think, affected us. Our scores are definitely not what they would have been if she had made it through the year. We were very lucky to have a long-term sub who stayed with us for the year. I think had we not had that, those numbers would not have been as good. So we definitely have, and we'll talk about this later, some goals and some things that we're working on to help improve those numbers. Mathematics, our achievement, we were at 59%. We had learning gains within 63%, and 59% of our lowest 25 had gains as well. Science, 45%. Civics, which is that 7th grade test, 59%. In our accelerated categories, we have all of our kids who are taking high school courses, passing end of course exams, and certifications were 88%, which is great. Clearly, our student with disabilities section is the one that's really underperforming, and we do have some plans to work with those groups. So our areas of focus are dealing with those students in those groups. We have new curriculum that we are touching in ELA and reading, as well as math. And those always have a learning curve, but there are definitely some strong points to both the Amplify curriculum that we have, as well as the Windows and Mirrors. Those are really strong. And I'm proud that we have experienced language arts teacher in the 6th and 7th, half of 7th grade group now, so I'm feeling that that's going to be lots of fun. Our science and civics are below the state average, but our science teacher, Ms. Martinez, is working with our other cohort in the group, and with the district teacher of the year program, I'm doing a coaching program. Actually, I'm supposed to be on the call from right now, but I'll get to that in a little bit, where we're coaching and helping along with Ms. Wills, making sure she has the tools that she needs to be successful. And that passes on to the other teacher as well. We're also working with recruiting great people, and I think we did a good job in pulling in new teachers this year. And just some really great folks that have come in to work with us. If we could do the same with substitutes and have more substitutes, that would be great. But we do have a consistent pool of substitutes that help us. All right, so goals wise, we're talking of having 50% of students be proficient on the fast reading test. Excuse me. As we said, our growth in the lowest 25% was that 38. And I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. None of the ELA proficiency in grade 3 through 5 met raise expectations at 50%. And this is the first data reported on those best standards as we go. So those are, looking at that data set and that scores, it's hard to, as Warhaven High School, pointed out, it's hard to measure those things. Definitely seeing gaps. And some teachers reported a lack of push-in support, and we've really worked on that as well, and having consistent scheduling for our push-ins and our students who need to be serviced in that way. So the things we're working on is that we're going to have 30 minutes of intervention time within the elementary. Middle school students have, within the reading classes, intensive work. They do small groups with push-in as well as the teacher in the regular language arts groups on Tuesdays. I'm trying to work on doing that as well with my Tune-Up Tuesday, working on grammar, and then having small group work as well to try and improve those students' proficiency, those bubble students that we want to push up to the next. We're using iReady, K through 8, STAR, EL, and pre-K and kindergarten, and then STAR to monitor with that best progress monitoring to plan and looking at all of that. We're scheduling our resource and ESC professionals, like I said, to have better scheduling, and I think they've really done that. We're getting a new ESC teacher, which I think will be really great to spread out the wealth some more, so I think that's really gonna be beneficial for us. We're working on, though it's been a hard transition, getting groups posted on lesson plans and adjusting lesson plans to show exactly what it is that we're doing. And we're working on shifting over to that new curriculum. Doesn't want to go. Okay. Our next goal is having at least 41% of students with disabilities be proficient. For the last 3 years, we've met the requirement of 41% of not.
Oh, we have every place but students.
But students, right. So, I'm so sorry, too many things in my brain. We're looking at talking goals, and I did that today in class, making sure they understand what the numbers mean to them. For a long time, they felt like that those numbers didn't really mean anything, and having them have a connection to that is really important. So hopefully we'll get that additional motivation for them to kind of reach to the next level. Small group instruction allows us to evaluate and kind of work more closely with those students and see what those gaps are. And if we need to adjust groups, even midday or even mid-class, we can adjust those groups as well. And we're going to have some learning strategies that are going to begin second semester as well, and scheduling is actively going for those.
Our third goal is for at least 60% of students to be proficient on the math FAST test. We're going to try to reach that goal, we are going to reach that goal by using our vertical planning and curriculum maps. Over the summer, I had the opportunity to come and map out math and reading, and that's been so helpful. It gave us a vision of where we needed to go and how we we're going to get there, and my team has used those consistently all year long. Each class also has a number line. An important piece to increasing our math scores is to increase our students' number sense and it to be very fluent for them. So in our classes, we have number lines where we take little cards and have kids line up on the number line and figure out where each card goes. We order decimals, fractions, things like that in all of our classrooms. That's a requirement for all classes. We're also focusing on spiral reviews. You can't teach something once and then expect them to remember it 7 months later on a test. So we're really utilizing all the resources that came with our new curriculum and making sure we hit our spiral reviews each week. Our last goal is for science proficiency to be at or above the state. We always kind of struggled with science because there's not a lot of data points on it. You take the test in 5th grade, you take the test in 8th grade, and then you move on. So we are utilizing our new art teacher, but we'll get to that, to do some projects on our science standards and curriculum mapping and vertically planning that. So each grade level knows which standard will be tested in 5th grade, so they can hit that the hardest and keep reviewing that all year long. We're also planning to do a science boot camp in the spring for 5th and 8th grade. Some of our strengths that we are going to use to reach our goals is using Avid. We're an Avid certified school, and that helps students with their study habits, taking notes, and setting themselves up for success. We also use the PBIS model. We're a silver model school, and our students look forward to their monthly and quarterly rewards. Our PTO, okay.
I have taught at other schools before Westlake, I know. But I've never met a PTO like ours. They have gone above and beyond already this year and have totally spoiled us. 91% of our teachers hold a valid teaching certificate, which is great. Geometry and algebra scores surpassed the state average once again this year, so we're gonna hold them to that again. We now have ITK and VPK, which was a huge deal for Westlake. It's been on the want list forever, and Dr. Barfield made it happen. We also have art back at Westlake, which if you have students there, you know how happy they are about that. And we have accelerated classes, kindergarten through 8, and a gifted program. Our gifted students are now being serviced by Mrs. Tyler, elementary and middle school. And we brought some guest speakers to talk about the positive impacts of art and the gifted classes. First up, I'd like to bring up Crystal to give her perspective on what art has done for the Westlake students.
I have some stuff. Hi, my name is Crystal Voorhees. I'm a proud Westlake Panther and a student of Miss Story's intermediate art class. Like many of my peers, I have attended Westlake School since I was in kindergarten, and we haven't had the gift of art class until this year. All of my friends agree that it is a blessing and a treat to have Miss Story lead us in art each week. We have already learned so much in the first 18 weeks of school. We've learned how to work with clay, complete realistic sketches, and draw self-portraits. I've even noticed that the kindergartners are creating amazing artwork. They've completed lily pad portraits and abstract art pieces that I found really interesting. Not only is art an enjoyable art class, but it helps me in other areas. I've used my new art skills to complete several ELA projects, and I'm very proud of how they all turned out. Thank you for getting art classes back at Westlake School. It really means a lot to me, and I'm thankful for the opportunities that Miss Story has given me and my peers.
I just want to say, in 2 years, I need her to be a speech giver for me. Very outstanding job.
I also have Michelle who would like to speak about the impacts of art class, and she brought some samples as well.
So some things that I really like about art this year is that we're learning a lot of new things that normally our grade wouldn't be learning. And this year we've gotten to work with clay, and other materials that are really fun to use. And to me, art is really peaceful and like calming. And I really hope that everybody can think that too, because to me, art is a really fun and special to do. And I hope that next year we will be doing art as well, because this is my first year at Westglades, and I learned that last year they did not have art. So I'm hoping that they can pursue art for many, many years to come up.
Our third student guest is Parker. He's a member of the accelerated 5th grade class and Mrs. Tyler's gifted class.
Hello, my name is Parker Dillman. I am a 5th grader at Westlake School. I'm here to tell you about our school's gifted program. I have enjoyed this program because the learning is focused on my own and my peers' interests. Our teacher, Mrs. Tyler, asked us at the beginning of the year what we enjoyed, and she tries to think about those things when we have projects and or assignments. Mrs. Tyler makes learning fun and interesting. She does this because she has a lot of knowledge, and she is an interesting person to be around and to get to know. We have done many projects, like a solar system project and a terrarium, to help us learn hands-on and have fun doing it. Being in this class makes learning fun. It is different from traditional classroom learning because the lessons are individualized, the class size is smaller, and we all feel understood and valued.
While I do not know about the middle school gifted person program, my mother, Kara Dillon, might know more about the program. I am thankful that the gifted program has been established at Westglade School. It gives me opportunities to grow that I might not have had without that in the traditional classroom learning style. Thank you.
In addition to our curriculum and our lesson planning, climate and culture is just as important to, for us to reach our goals. Our sunshine cart, if you've seen it on Facebook, it's a cart that the administrators cart around the school and give the teachers a beverage and a snack. And when you've been teaching all day and your head hurts and they come around with a Diet Coke and beef jerky, the day is made. And that is completely supplied by our stakeholders. The school hasn't had to spend any money out of our budget on that, which is amazing. Our PTO is growing and they're very involved. They have done so much for us already this year, providing dinners to candy apples and just being there to support us and asking us what we need and how they can help us. Westglade is a positive and supportive environment, and that's among students and staff. The students are there, they have each other's back, and I know I can go to any teacher on campus with a concern or a question, and they won't shoo me out their door. They're gonna take the time to listen and really help me with whatever it is that I need. Many members are utilizing the Glades Education Foundation for help with supplies in the classroom. I got 2 class sets of novels to use, and I'm so excited about that.
That was a huge thing that the art teacher and the gifted teacher and the science teacher wanted to be sure to say thank you for, because it has been a changing moment in experiments in science and projects that kids get to do. So they were most thankful. Sorry, Ms. Caroline isn't here, but you know, it's really been a change in what they've done.
And our teachers have participated so much that I just got like the first installment, if you would, like our first payback from the foundation, and it was over $12,000, and that's not even all of it. So we haven't even received it. So our teachers have been very active with getting grants and some money. In fact, the gifted teacher is what is the thing she's doing? She's got a pool, and she bought a cage to go over it so nobody gets in it. And what are y'all doing, Parker?
They're doing, that's the middle school group. I had the list that they gave me today.
Yes, they're doing a big, huge project. I don't remember
with aquaponics, and these are all kind of passion projects and things that they're interested in, and most of them as 8th graders are moving on to think about what they want to do in high school, what they want to do in college, so they're starting to create and do these things in anticipation of their life careers. And she'd been wanting to make sure that you guys understood that she's concentrating mostly on the science standards with those kids, so hopefully that will help, pull up that science score as well.
This isn't meant to be a downer, but there are a few things that we need to complete in order to make sure we meet our goals. Curriculum mapping for all subjects. I know we have it for ELA and math, but we need it for all subjects in all grade levels. Training needed on horizontal scales and understanding components. If we're going to really stick to the scales, we've got to know all about it. I've had the training, so I know a little bit more, but as a district, I don't think we have had that yet. As I stated, our enrollment is 665, and I do feel like it's a tight fit in some of our classrooms. Soccer field, technology, as Mrs. Mills so quietly mentioned earlier. BPK does not have smart boards yet. But our biggest need on that list is the MTSS support. We know that they are simplifying the process, but from a teacher standpoint, it still feels a bit confusing and like, what now, what now? I took my data, I've done my groups, what are we doing now? In textbooks, I want to thank Mr. Boyles for scrounging up every textbook that he has found and that we needed and making sure that we have what we need. Something that is out of our control, but we are really appreciative of you. As far as data, we didn't include that because next week we are doing our PM2 and we're hoping to see a lot of growth there.
But we will do a PowerPoint or a slide. We'll compile some data and I'll send it to all the board members if you have questions.
So the data in the brochure was last year's FSA data?
That's where we're starting from.
Yes, that's what, that's. But I will compile it and I'll send it.
Oh, it's a great thing happening at West Glades. The Glades After School program is starting up soon. We have Spirit Week and Celebrate Literacy Week. Our spelling bee is January 30th, if you'd like to attend, that's always really fun. Holiday festivities, PTO, Belly Bingo, Book Week. I'm gonna think about this year celebration, but that'll be happening way later this calendar. And that's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You ladies did a wonderful job, these students did outstanding jobs, congratulations to you all.
And they volunteered, we asked for volunteers, and they were willing to do it. They walked out of the school office and said, I can do it, well, except for Parker, who's voluntold. They're teaching it that are very young.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve West Glades Schools 2022-2023 school improvement plan.
Second. I have some, I just am overwhelmed with the gratitude after listening to all three schools. You know, you're looking at it strategically, you're looking at what benchmarks are being tested, you're focusing on benchmarks, and that is just joy to my ears to know that you're not just shooting a shotgun out there hoping we do well, but you're actually targeting what the kids have to know and the skills they have to know, like with a rifle. You know, you've got your target, you know what it is, and it sounds to me like everybody's on the same page with doing that and has a good understanding of that. We've been trying to get where we're at in this district for over 20 years. I'm telling you, when I first started teaching here, fresh out of college, 20-something years ago, we were taught to teach the standards. I was looking at Lainey thinking, I wonder if she remembers, I made the students write them on the board. But it's taken over 20 years for our profession to figure it out. I'm so happy and feel so encouraged to know that your leadership knows what to do, your teachers know what to do, your kids even know what to do. It's just, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. I've been to many of these for 4 years, listened to school improvement plans, and never felt like anybody's heart was really in them. Like it's a hoop the state makes you jump through. I've seen a lot of them written, you know, what are we gonna put this year? You know, I know. But it really feels like they're for real plans. I mean, like you're really using it, and I'm just overwhelmed. That's all I can say. I'll start crying. Thank you.
Do we have a second?
I think I second.
Okay. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Amended agenda. 9.1, approve the quote from Dell Technology.
I'll make a motion to approve the quote. Is,
I definitely want to talk about it.
yeah, is she on the board?
You want me to get up? Jackie?
Curtis, can we get Whitney up on the screen, please?
Kirby? We're gonna put that on the door. I felt bad though, I was like, excuse me, but birds. I'm so tired, I'm like, I am too. Oh my God.
Yes. Yes. Can you hear us? Okay. Okay, we just went through the amended first item, the quote from Dell Technologies, they have questions.
I guess I'll start. Can you hear me? So I met with Dawn today and she assures me that we have the money to pay for it. It was just such a big ask that I really wanted to hear your viewpoint on. I don't doubt that we need it. I just kind of wanted to hear what you had to say about it.
Sure, so they, some teachers are using Chromebooks, some are using desktops, some are using a desktop and a Chromebook, or a desktop and a laptop. And if they needed to move to another location to work, or if they just had a desktop and they needed to go to a training, they don't have a laptop to take to a training. And right now, there are very few longer laptops, even new laptops to give new staff members. So this quote would, and this is like pie in the sky where we replace everybody right now. We will not replace everybody. We've got to create that replacement cycle like we talked about in the past. We won't replace everybody at one time, but this would be if we replace anybody from a clerk all the way up to an administrator. Is if we replaced everybody in the district office and all of the schools, giving them a laptop and a docking station and a monitor to use, so they would have 2 screens for their work.
Okay, can you include school board members in that, please?
We can, absolutely.
We're gonna need 5 more. Thank you.
It's actually figured into that quote.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just wanted to touch on what Whitney said too, as far as the computers and stuff, is that something I found talking to Tech and our new IT department is that not everybody is using this across the district. And a lot of people have been working with very, very, very outdated computers and technology. And I feel like getting this in a staggered system with new updated equipment like we should have for our teachers, that will help them in their endeavors to have a more successful environment for everyone.
It'll give everybody the tools they need to teach or they need to work, and we will not be constantly trying to piece together equipment for them to do their jobs. Where we are right now. This is also not a purchase that you would do. You will not have to purchase laptops if we purchased all new for everybody, again, for several years. I mean, this is not something that you do every 2 years, or like Chromebooks, they go out of date every 5 to 6 years. You will not replace laptops every 5 to 6 years.
And then as far as the funding for this, which is why I got up here, what I wanted to point out to everybody is that what's funding this is we do have money in our general fund tech account, but of course not that much money as if we were to go replace everybody right now, regarding that quote. But we have an instructional materials grant, which is about $211,000. So that's a good chunk of this quote. And then we also have about $65,000, which we're being reimbursed from another grant for 7th period planning. And then we have another $65,000 that's going into our general fund from our ESSER pre-K. So that right there covers that and then some.
They would not allow us to mix the funds before.
Well, this is a
They
grant
told us
that allows you
specifically.
to, right, this is a grant that allows you to put it back into the general fund.
Okay, okay. That was my question. Why is it possible now? Okay.
Yeah, it's just the grant, a lot of grants will not allow
I
you
know.
to supplant like that, but this one will allow it.
Perfect. Thank you. Gary, you might think you.
Oh, he's amazing.
Okay.
He's amazing.
Thank you. Thought I said so. Perfect.
Anybody else have questions on the quote from Bill? All in favor?
Aye.
Where are you looking like that, Jeff? Did we make it?
No, you're good.
Okay.
No, I tell you, you're good.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
9.2, approve the quote from CBW.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve. Quote from CDW.
Second to discuss it.
So, Whitney, what exactly is this? Jackie told me it had something to do with password retrieval. Oh, is it? If I got the wrong one?
What this will do, so I can give you a little history. Last week we had 3 MIS techs from Highlands come down to support. We talked about a lot of the excess equipment that we had. We deprovisioned over 2,500 Chromebooks that are out of date, that we are getting ready to do the buyback, the sellback program. And so what this program does is called Gopher. And instead of having to hand type in one Chromebook at a time to move into the correct security groups, and Google Admin, this allows you to scan hundreds of them at a time and move them in one swoop, so it's a huge time saver. Instead of having to hand move one Chromebook at a time, you can move groups of them at a time into the correct security groups. So if it's a student Chromebook versus a teacher Chromebook, or if it's being used to like run a meeting or something like that, it'll be in the correct security group.
Okay.
And I just wanna, I don't mean to interrupt Whitney, but I wanna make sure everyone heard that number, 2,500 computers that this team came together. Heck has just been, I wanna go on record, I don't know what we would have done without Heck. They have come in and moved a mountain and have worked their fingers till they bled. I mean, 2,500 computers, and they're getting back about $10,000 of money that our district would have never seen. So these gentlemen.
2,500 not being used? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Being used old.
Oh,
Yes, most of them are out of date, so that means that they don't update to the newest version of Chrome. So they can't be used for testing, they can't be used if they were trying to do work on them, but just the updates aren't there, so they're very limited. So typically districts will resell them at that 5 or 6 year mark and get a little bit of money back to help with that replacement cycle of replacing Chromebooks. And so that has not been done for years, so you guys have had, over 2,500 Chromebooks just sitting on shelves to be purchased new for the kids to have the most up-to-date equipment, and now we've got to do something with this equipment. So it's not just sitting there collecting dust.
And the team that came down from HEC worked with our new IT members, and I can tell you that they work from sun up to sundown. The high school, the elementary school, if you walk in the tech room over there, you can actually see carpet. It's crazy what has happened within just a week's time. And the amount of data and the amount of things and wealth of knowledge that they brought. I just, as a member of the Heartland consortium, I think as a teacher, I never quite understood what the consortium could do for my school district. As a principal, I'm like, oh, I go up once a month for a meeting or whatever. And then as a superintendent, I knew that, what the consortium was, but until I went to the consortium and I said, I've got a problem, I need help. And it's like I called the cavalry. And they came, they had suggestions, they have been, I don't even have words. I can't even tell you how much our district has advanced in the past week. And I think every administrator in this room, every district person will tell you that I don't know how our district, I don't know, and I look at like our testing people, I don't know how our kids were able to take tests for years because the apparatuses, the computers were outdated. And so I just thank you, Whitney and Lindsay and your team and Curtis and Lindsay Boyles, thank you all because we are forever grateful. I mean, truly, you all have made I think it's been 2 years of me being the superintendent. This is probably the biggest gain I have seen and the biggest advancement our district has experienced. So thank you. Yes. Oh, past 20 years, well, I'll take that too.
I think the record should reflect all the people that were going in the
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
And it's just
Exactly.
gonna make it
Easier for everyone.
Yeah.
We're happy.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes,
And
we are.
that makes a big difference for everyone.
Okay, so we
Thank you.
need to vote.
No problem.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? 9.3, approve the contract with Brightly Software and Glades County School District.
I move to approve the contract with Brightly.
Discussion?
Whitney, can you elaborate on that one for us, please?
Yes, ma'am. So Brightly, is what it is a work order or requisition software. So any kind of request that the district would need, anywhere from technology work orders to maintenance work orders to transportation requests for field trips or for a basketball team to go to a game, or to check out a district vehicle, can be set up into this system. The primary reason we started to look for this is because right now the technology work order system is being used with Google Form. And if I am buying like using laptops or any kind of device, if I need to warranty something out, the companies will look at a Google Form and they're probably not going to accept that because it's not a full document of how things were fixed every time you've had to touch that device. And so this program will allow us to have all of that documentation to be able to use warranties and to track all the work that is being done in maintenance or technology or how requests that we had for field trips, those kinds of pieces. It's gonna be a one-stop shop without having to use 5 different programs for any kind of request.
And this is not in Skyward, this capacity, and it's not in our media.
Skyward does not have for this.
And our media software, it's not in there either.
Destiny can be used for inventory, but for you want to work orders, it's gonna track all of the documentation of what has been done to each device, and it'll be done, that's where this comes in.
So we're not duplicating software. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
This will actually be eliminating some, because right now you have a Google form for technology, there's another form or another program for maintenance work orders, and I don't know what's being used for other kinds of requests, but this will be any kind of request that anybody would want to be put into this program.
Does that come out of the general funds or is there a grant funded for that?
We're gonna try to, with these same funds that are coming around, we're gonna try to do it that way through the grant first, because we want to keep the general fund where it's at. And we also have ESSER funding as well, so we're gonna try to work that way, rather than pulling it from the general fund.
What is our balance in ESSER funds right now, do you know?
Well, it was 3 million that we had, but, we just had a meeting with Gary and he mentioned it's now up to 5.
Trying to spend it as fast as.
Yes, we wanna spend it before we lose it.
Sure.
And we're getting it faster than we can spend it. So we wanna make sure that we're keeping the general fund up as much as possible and using as much as the grant money before they do take it from us.
They will.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 10, general public comments.
Wait, I have a question, I didn't hear your comment. Ask the question. Ask the chairman.
You have 3 minutes.
I just was wondering if there were a commission I mentioned the other night. Anybody had a chance to? Okay, you're asking questions?
Thank you.
Board member comments and business?
I have some.
Look at you.
I'm gonna be fast. I thought the Tri-County meeting was a success. And I just want to thank everybody. I know you said how the fire committee could be here, but I know people went away, maybe not satisfied with the way it went, but to me, just getting together like that and hearing, like the city especially, I had no clue. I mean, that guy had a long list of things that the city was working on that, to me, it was very informative. And I'm glad we did. I didn't realize it was a Florida statute. That was interesting news. So does the statute say just once a year or?
No, actually, I'm looking at it.
It's, well, we used to do it 3 times a year, just dropped.
Oh, wow.
Then when that first started, we did it twice a year. And then the last, once a year was really, and then there was years that we didn't do it at all.
I was the chair. What are you talking about?
Oh, you were there. I'm so sorry, Jenny.
It's okay.
You were at, it was the
I was
teacher.
coughing my head off.
It was the teacher of the year that you missed. I'm sorry.
Yes.
You were the chairman and you did a wonderful job.
You did.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad I didn't just drink that. Yes, Crystal.
I'm sorry. Now I don't want to say anything else for fear of what I'm gonna say wrong.
Hey, I got points for being placed.
Thank you for being here. I just, wanted to publicly thank Representative Tuck and Marty Milkey, the legislative aide for Senator, Aaron Grawl, for attending the Teacher of the Year. I don't ever recall us having any elected state officials at our Teacher of the Year before, so that was awesome. And in speaking with both of them at the event, they both agreed to be in the parade with the school board. They're going to ride with us. And I'm working on what we're gonna ride on. I have some ideas that Dr. Barfield doesn't like. She and I are gonna duke it out over what we ride. So I'll get with y'all privately about that. And also I think Dr. Barfield's gonna talk about the legislative days in a minute. And I just want to let everybody know that I will schedule the appointments with Senator Grawl and Representative Tuck for when you're in Tallahassee. So you all go, don't worry about that, I'll take care of that.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay. Anything?
Good.
Superintendent's report.
Alrighty. Well, first of all, I just want to compliment all the students and the staffs that came tonight and presented your plans. There was a lot of work going on. These teachers they are working so hard, and there is a feeling it's personal. For 2 of our schools, it's kind of like a redemption. That the perception is, they're these schools, but there's so much more going into those schools than a letter grade of a D. Both schools from the year before came up a tremendous amount. So it's not like they went to a D and they were, they made huge gains. And I know this year, we're expecting even larger gains. But, West Glades just has continued to go on an upward trend, and I think that, even when they spoke about Ms. Collier and how it affected them, not just one class, it affected their entire staff and, the students, and there's just a family feeling out there. With that, we have two schools, first off, I'd like to congratulate all the winners for the Teacher of the Year. But we have two winners for the district, Terry Griffin, which is a teacher at Payette in La Jolla, and she is the Glades County Support Person of the Year, and Estella Gonzalez, who is our Teacher of the Year. They will be representing us on the district level, or on the state level, hopefully to bring home the state teacher and support teacher of the year for Glades County. Something that I want to, I'm very proud of this because last night about 1 o'clock, I was 1 or 2 or something, when I sent the email, I thought these people are gonna think I've lost it completely, but Glades County School District has never been an accredited school district, ever, as a whole, as an entire district. Moorhaven Elementary and Moorhaven High School are both accredited schools. West Glades has never been accredited, and that just blows my mind. Moorhaven Elementary and Moorhaven High School were up for accreditation this year. And in my past experience, I had gone through a district accreditation before, and it's a very tedious undertaking. It dives into every file cabinet, every corner, everything that could go wrong or everything that could go right in the district. This is what this process does. I figured 2 of our schools are up for it. We only have 3 schools that it could come under this, so let's do it all as a district. So, we are, for the first time ever, our county is going to be going through district accreditation. And it will be the first time that our county has had all 3 schools accredited. And the team that's going to do this is gonna be teachers and administrators from the district. And I think some of them are here tonight, but the following teachers are Rita Story, Stephanie Garrett, Bernie Smith, Laney Stokes, Sandra Van Wagner, Tina Wills, Jamie Campbell, Stephanie Parrish, Kara Dillman, Bianca Rawls, Michelle Tu, Antonia Williams, Juan Pagan, Glenn Ford, Charles Daly, and Christy Durant are all on the team. And this isn't something that you do, and, I don't know, Dr. Daly, how long do you think this is gonna take?
4, 5, 6 months.
It's a lot of questions that they ask, and some of the questions are uncomfortable, what do you need improvement on? But it's more specific questions, that you have to answer, and you have to show documentation of your answer. So it's a big deal for our district, and, I think that, I said this the other night, and somebody that was there that was on another board said to me, it's kind of like you were digging at us, and I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. But our school board, we are ready for this. We're ready. We have the most functioning, the most, the passion and the friendship and the relationships that we have as a board is, I would put us up against any board around here. And not just school board, any board. And because there's one reason we're all here. And there's times when you have to have uncomfortable conversations, and people don't get along, and people have different opinions, and that's okay.
Like about the parade? Yeah.
Like about the parade, I am not riding a horse to tell them the parade, I'm just like, ride Jenny, we're not riding a horse, okay.
Maybe a carriage.
Not my idea.
She said a carriage.
Maybe a carriage.
Horse-drawn carriage. But anyway, it's gonna be an institutional, it's gonna look at everything, and so they'll make suggestions. There might be some things that are glaring that we need to fix. But there's probably gonna be some things that we didn't think of. And there might be conversations that we have that we don't wanna talk about. Because sometimes you like my family, and they say, the ugliest cousin in the back of the road with all the family pictures. But we're gonna have and put some of those uglies out on the front and, you know, we're fixing them and move forward. And that's what we're doing, what's best for our school district. So that's a big deal. Let me see, okay. On your calendars, and I know Westlake's kind of mentioned this, but I wanna just go, your calendars are gonna start getting very full as a school board. We've got January the 25th, there is a sports banquet. It is a Wednesday night, it had been changed, so you'll get an updated calendar invite. February 1st is our legislative delegation at the Glades County Courthouse at 1:30. And the purpose for this on your calendars, if you could make it, that would be great. You don't have to speak, but myself, Mr. Gressett and Al Brown will be giving a shortened version of our new school presentation.
Tell me what time the delegation is again.
It starts at 1:30. And all it is to tell them, our representatives, what it is that we need. And, you know, we are, special facilities funding is, we're gonna be getting a very, very nice school, an over $30 million school for around $3 million. About is what we're gonna have to spend. So I'd say any day, that's a good day. When you spend 3 and you get 30 million. So, but we have to make sure that funding, you know, we have it approved, but we have to make sure the funding gets approved. And that's already done. That money is, we're hoping that gets approved by the legislative. If you wanna say anything else about that?
No, and they both know about it, but we just have to keep mentioning it and talking about it and keep it in our ears.
Someone to do that for us?
So tonight you passed we have hired a lobbyist, but he is up in Tallahassee every day working on that and his name is Patrick Bell.
There you go.
We met him when we went to Tallahassee.
Exactly.
Our February 9th is our next school board meeting, and it is a 9 a.m. meeting.
Now, I think, Ms. Clements gonna be at the finance forum on that board, right?
Yes. We go to 8th and 9th and 11th.
And then I sent an email out just for, you all know, Jerry Copeland, who was a friend of Glades County, a friend of Peck, passed away, not a crazy story, but I kind of thought he passed away several years ago, and I went somewhere and was saying how I'm so sorry that he passed away, and they said, he's not dead. So, anyway, we're trying to get the job, organizational chart job list done, and I found a number for Jerry Copeland's business, so called it and it disconnected, so I'm like, well, he's definitely gone, you know. But there was an email, and I emailed him, and they emailed me back, so when the lady, she kind of called her, and I said, you know, crazy story, somebody told me he had passed away, and I said, I thought he's been dead all this time, but he just passed away. So, his service is Saturday, I will be speaking on this meeting. But he was a great friend to Glades County, and he worked with Peck and did our job descriptions, and I don't know, he was the one that, y'all may remember him, that he was on a plane and got a blood clot in his leg, lost his leg. Anyway. With that's about it for me. The sports banquet is at 6.
And it's going to be here?
It is going to be at the auditorium. Yes, you will be getting all the end of the year graduations. The calendar committee, is starting to meet to discuss calendar for next school year, which is crazy. But we are getting that done, so we can go ahead and get that posted. So lots going on.
And I would also like to announce really quickly, if anybody is interested in working on the calendar committee with us, we are looking for a teacher, someone in the community, and a parent also as well. So if anybody's listening in or anybody knows anybody, if you will please send me an email or call me and let me know, so we can get to work on that, so we can get our meeting scheduled.
She's on.
Oh, okay.
Anybody have anything else? Thank you, everyone, I'll adjourn the meeting.
I do. One thing, just so you know, I do know that the toilets aren't flushing. Someone ran over the water mains in the back and broke the pipes and turned the water off.
Oh my
I
goodness.
didn't want to say anything earlier because it might be like a bunch of kindergartners, once you tell someone they can't use the restroom.
And everybody has
Where was it, the pipes?
Right back here. On our
So
side.
it's just for this building or?
Yes.
Not,
Yeah, so we shut off
So if they don't get it fixed, nobody works tomorrow?
around the
That's
early
on
morning. Don't drink any water.
Oh.